think nothing happens in Gainesville, then you don't like sports, and you might as well move away anyway. But, I mean, this weekend we had unbelievable stuff going on. Baseball, basketball, women's basketball.
Lacrosse.
We had the Gator Golf Invitational. We had it was just softball. Everywhere you look, there was something going on. I don't know how the UAA does it. How they put all these events on.
I think it just happened that it was this past weekend that everything was happening. I got a chance to go see our baseball team, and they look sharp, beating Air Force, I think, all 3 times. I was wondering if Air Force even had a chance to practice outdoors yet, because it's pretty cold out there in Colorado this time of year.
Did you notice that when they did the national anthem, all the cadets lined up?
Yeah.
That was so cool. Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We appreciate all of our great sponsors, and special thanks to my man Joe Calorio at Titan, because we went and enjoyed our Friday night. On Saturday night, Hesser and Kipke. Although I will say this, Hesser and Kipke, Ken Hesser, sent me tickets, and I appreciate it so much. We both times box seats, but he sent me a picture where he was at because he couldn't be at the game, and it was the picture was a selfie of him and then the Eiffel Tower in the background. So I'm like, So I said, well, merci for the tickets. So anyway, we appreciate those guys. You don't have to give me tickets to be a sponsor, though. I'll just tell you right now. I do appreciate them, though. And we had a great time. Let's get to our show today. Coach Spurrier, of course, will join us. Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe, as he always does on Mondays. On Thursday, Matt McCall is going to join us, former Florida assistant, former UMass basketball coach, now on Sirius Radio, does a great job, and I love when he's on there. And he'll talk a lot about the Gators, I can tell you that. Pat Bradley the following Thursday. So we got a lot of good stuff going. I went to 2 baseball games. And the atmosphere was really good. Was just good being out at the ballpark again. Really enjoyable. And they obviously got the job done. So we'll talk about all that and more. I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in that happened over this weekend. This weekend was crazy in terms of sports. So we'll talk to Coach Spurrier about some of them too. All right, let's get to our Royal Blue starting 5. It is brought to you by Royal Blue, and we appreciate Randy Royal at Royal Blue, the place to go for your needs when you need a yacht. Or if you just need yacht rock. Maybe you can go there and they just play yacht rock for you. But we appreciate Randy so much. Let's get to number 1. Okay, I'm starting with basketball. I could start with a lot of things, but I'm starting with basketball. And to me, the biggest story of the night was Micah's return. Micah Handlocked, and of course, as soon as and I told you the story about what happened Tuesday night, how somebody said, Condon's out for the year, and as I was at the quarterback club meeting, and I was like, immediately went, I wonder if Handlocked will come back now. And sure enough, he did for the game Saturday, and he's back on the team. He's ready to go, and we all knew he was ready to go. But again, mentally, I get that, how you can go through all that thinking about, do I want to do this? Do I really want to burn a redshirt year? Do I want to come back and be maybe I don't feel comfortable and something else? I mean, there's a lot of stuff racing through the mind of a, 19, 20-year-old kid. I certainly, nobody felt any ill will towards him when he, at the last minute, decided to opt out of the rest of the season when they thought he was coming back. That was 2 weeks ago. And now, because of these injuries, he says, I want to be I want to help the team. I want to play with these guys one more time. The seniors, they're going to be out of there. I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful moment in college basketball. It was the opposite of everything we've been hearing about college sports. Everything. How much money are they going to get? How much this? How much that? Is he going to get in the portal? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've talked about this before. And again, this goes back to recruiting in a way. It's not all recruiting, but it's partly recruiting. And I do believe that Billy Napier's doing the same kind of thing. If you recruit the right kids, the portal is only going to be for the guys who can't play at your level. The portal's never going to be for guys who can play at your level, but just want more money. And occasionally it will be. The ETNs of the world are going to be out there. But you keep guys who you develop and appreciate you. You know, you look at what's going on with this team right now, and that's what they have. They have a combination of all that. Anyway, Micah's line I thought was brilliant. 2 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. That's all. You get that out of him every game, that's all you're looking for. You're looking for another guy to come in there. Look, your best player in the post is Condon. There's no doubt about it. You also, I think Alexis stepped his game up Saturday because Condon was out. And he needs to be able to mentally do that all the time. But again, these are all things that I know the coaches know. I'm just telling you what my opinion is. Did they absolutely need him to beat South Carolina? No. Do they need him maybe to finish out the rest of the season? Obviously they do. And in college basketball, if you play one game, you're done. That's your eligibility for the year. So you never know. You might be able to win back another year. But anyway, let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, which is the performances by 2 guys who usually don't start, although Denzel's been starting for a while now. Thomas Houck getting his first start. 22 and 20 for those 2 guys scored, and they just were lighting it up. Denzel did have one heat check where he took a bad 3. And again, that's what heat checks are for. Are you saying I can make this 3 over a defender who is, and there's another guy leaning into me, but I'm so hot I can make it? That is kind of the heat check. But anyway, they played so well. South Carolina has got problems, as we know. They have won an SEC game, but they've been so close so many times. And in this game, they were close, and then Florida just went, let's put it into third, and blew right by them. And then it became getting mine time, which you saw with that team, South Carolina. But that's their problem, not mine. And Florida was able to pull away. So a good win for the Gators in a weird year where you just sit here and you kind of go, well, eventually they're going to play this crap game. Look at their losses. Missouri, how good's Missouri right now? They're in the tournament. Tennessee, after you beat them by 30, you lost by 20, but still, Tennessee right now I think is a 2 seed, I think, in the first reveal that they had, and 3, Kentucky. Now, and Kentucky, I know is struggling right now. I get it, but they weren't struggling then, and they're still going to get in the tournament. But anyway, that's my take on that. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Royal Blue starting 5. Of course, Florida next up has Oklahoma. That's an important game tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. It's an important game because Oklahoma badly needs this win. They are one of the teams that I consider to be the Frozen Four, which and there's 4 teams that they keep sticking in for a while, and then they take them out and they put them back in because they're frozen in terms of winning big games. Oklahoma, certainly Arkansas, Vanderbilt. I'm trying to think of the other team. Texas got a big win the other night, so they're probably okay. But anyway, there's probably 9 teams we can count on are getting in. But there are 4 others that are I call them the Frozen Four. There's another one in there, but I think they're out. Anyway, Florida, when they had the reveal, and I didn't watch it because I forgot, I didn't know it was on game day. But the committee, and this is important, what the committee thinks has Florida as the 4th number 1 seed. I'm one of those people that goes, please don't do that. Just keep them like a 3 seed. I'm just always afraid people will go, oh, it's a bigger deal to try to play Florida. But look, it's already a big deal to play Florida right now, the way they're playing. The good thing for this game is that Florida is at home, and then they'll obviously, then they go to LSU and I think Georgia. And then they have the brutal end of their schedule. The last 3 games are really tough. I think it's Alabama, Ole Miss, and somebody else good. Anyway, my brain's not working all the way. But that was certainly it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out for Florida going forward. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's just great to – I mean, look – I know that all of you are probably think Florida should be the number 1 team in the world, like even ahead of Taipei and, But I always, this is the guy who grew up with no success as a kid, football, basketball, baseball, never won anything. I'm talking about the Gators, not me. I never won anything either. But I had that still in my brain. I went through the Doug Dickey years too. I mean, in college, that's always going to be in my brain. But anyway, the fact that they're a 1 seed in Todd Golden's 3rd year, right? I think it's his 3rd year, is pretty darn amazing. Now, you never know where you're going to end up, but you're not going to end up much lower than a 1. I think the worst Florida could probably do is like a 4, but. Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the best they can do. The best they can do is just keep winning. Just keep winning these last 3 games. Go win them, or the last 5 games. Go win them all and go see what's going on there. Okay, and number 4 on our Royal Blue starting 5 is the way baseball played this weekend. Like I said, I was at 2 of the games. They were a lot of fun to watch. Good defense. They did a lot of good things. Pitching-wise, they were really good. Liam Peterson was awesome. Certainly, Clemente was good. He had one little hiccup in that 1 inning, and other than that, he was really good too. And then Coppola was in the play he made. I would have made it our play of the weekend, except that because and Nick Belmonte was telling me about this before the game. He said, "Hey, look, the cameras are not going to be good." This is before the Friday night game because this tells you what we dealt with and. We always deal with in Gainesville, Florida, and that is that you had so many sports going on, including, you had softball across the street. That was televised. Basketball was going to be televised. Look, you had lacrosse. You had gymnastics. We had so much going on. They only had 2 cameras, I think, and so you couldn't really see the play. So, but anyway, he made an unbelievable play on a bunt, caught it, flipped it with his glove, got the out. And also had a bunch of strikeouts. Florida had 30, I wrote it down, didn't I? 31 strikeouts for the weekend, which is good. Now, I don't know how good our Air Force is, but bottom line is you go win those kind of games. Look, last year Florida lost to teams worse than Air Force, I'll tell you that. So I love the discipline of that team. Their shortstop could play for me. He can't hit for me, but he could play shortstop for me. Let's get to number 5 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that's the way gymnastics bounced back from that. They really just didn't have a good meet in Arkansas, and beam was a big problem. Instead, Leanne Wong goes out and gets a 10 on the beam, and then Sloan Blakely follows up with a 10 on the floor. They were really good. After bars, it was still a match. You thought, I don't know, what's going on here? They just blew them out there at the end. Look, it's a long way to go, guys. I did also want to mention while we're talking, because I don't know if I can fit all the sports in, but golf won the Gator Invitational, and congratulations to them for winning that. We'll get to some of that a little bit later. So, we got so much to cover. It is Gainesville. It is a university about everything. And I am Pat Dooley, and I am about nothing. We'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging. From the Meldon Law Gator Studios, try to say it once. We'll be back with more after this message on the show. At Royal Blue, we use such tools as AI, bulk email marketing, trade shows, Google search advertising, and multiple websites. We take a much more proactive approach to getting your boat sold in a timely manner. With our extensive client list and broker-dealer network, we can track down vessels that might be perfect for you and your family, that may not even be listed for sale yet, giving you the right of first refusal. We have spent the last 15 years in boat sales, observing and listening to our clients. In response to our findings, we have constructed a custom yacht brokerage that strives to fit their needs and not ours. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294. Hey, let's talk about something that's been a real game changer for many people, including me. BMI TeleMed is one of our sponsors. They're the weight loss specialists and can help you tackle that stubborn belly fat. You know, the kind that usually creeps up once you hit your 40s. Bob Parado and Charlie Gonzalez, 2 UF-trained pharmacists, work with their medical director to prescribe and deliver the same meds that helped me lose 50 pounds. Yep, 50 pounds. That belly fat, it's not just about looks. It's unhealthy and makes you feel sluggish. So now's the time to do something about it before spring and summer roll around. If you're anywhere in Florida, BMI TeleMed, simple online telehealth platform makes it easy. Your weight loss meds get delivered right to your door fast. From my experience, you feel full sooner, eat less, but can keep enjoying the foods that you love, just in smaller portions. Plus, it helps with blood sugar and cravings. Do yourself a favor, head to bmitelemed.com to set up a free private consultation. No obligations, no contracts. These Gators know their stuff. You'll look better, feel better, and be healthier. Visit bmitelemed.com today.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Mm-hmm. They also sponsor Coach Spurrier, who is in here, as always, on a Meldon Monday. We always love having the coach on here. And I know Coach is excited about a week from today. You got something special going on.
Yeah, that's right, Pat. A week from today, next Monday, we've got the Steve Spurrier Coach of the Year Award, first year at the school. This used to be called the Sports Writers Coach of the Year, first year. And the guy called me, I think 5 years ago, said, we want to put your name on it. And I said, well, fine, let's do that. Because I like those coaches that are successful their first year at the school. Like 1990, University of Florida.
You would have won it that year.
I got a chance to come here. And instead of saying, we got to build this thing up 2 or 3 years, we got to do some recruiting and no, I said, hey, these players are good enough to win and win an SEC. And that's what they went and did for our university and established a tradition of Gator football there for a long time. So anyway, I want to put my name on it. And the winner this year is actually the Syracuse coach, Fran Brown. His first year there. Yeah, went 10-3, won the bowl game. And so he was our Coach of the Year. And then we have a Freshman Player of the Year, Denoris Sellers at South Carolina. And
your neck of the woods.
Shane Beamer's going to come, and his dad Frank Beamer is our legend coach. We have a guy that's retired now, and he's our legend coach of the year. Our special team player is the kicker at Clemson. He kicked a 56-yard field goal to win the ACC again for Dabo Swinney, and I think Dabo's going to show up. So good to have him here. And then Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. His defensive back was the freshman defensive player of the year. So Notre Dame will be represented, and it's here Monday night. And to get a ticket, go to SteveSpurrierAwards.com.
I think it's just great what you've created with this whole thing. And again, I know that they already had a coach, a first-year coach of the year, but they wanted to do it, and you've taken it to a new level with all the stuff you do. And we've been here. We'll be here for radio on Monday on the tailgate. And we were here last year and the year before, and just being able to talk to those coaches was so great. Yeah,
actually, Chris Doring Mortgage has been one of our big sponsors, and Tricia Garzon that works for them is pretty much the lady who put it all together for us. So they'll be here. And then we got a new sponsor this year, prostate cancer testing, the people there. So we've got a really good format, and hopefully we'll have a big crowd here at the restaurant next Monday night around 5:30. We eat first and then get into the awards right after that.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be a great time, as always. And we appreciate all the stuff the coach does for this, and Freddie Weeby as well, who gets all the stuff together. And Trish, you mentioned Trish. She talks to me about it every time I see her. She goes, "Don't forget, who's this?" She asked me, in my opinion, a couple of times. But all right, let's get to what was a great weekend of sports here in Gainesville. I always tell people, if you think nothing happens in Gainesville, then you don't like sports, and you might as well move away anyway. But I mean, this weekend we had unbelievable stuff going on: baseball, basketball, women's basketball,
lacrosse.
We had the Gator Golf Invitational. We had it was just softball. Everywhere you look, there was something going on. I don't know how the UAA does it, how they put all these events on.
I think it just happened that it was this past weekend that everything was happening. I got a chance to go see our baseball team, and they look sharp, beating Air Force, I think, all 3 times. I was wondering if Air Force even had a chance to practice outdoors yet, because it's pretty cold out there in Colorado this time of year.
Did you notice that when they did the national anthem, all the cadets lined up?
Yeah.
That was so cool. That gave me goosebumps, and they did a salute. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was a neat performance. And across the way, our softball ladies were playing Duke, I think, Friday night. And then just next door up there, we had a lacrosse match going on. Gymnastics was going on right across from the stadium. So we had a lot going on, and I think a very good weekend for us.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for Gator sports, and also for the traffic enforcement people who gave out a lot of tickets, because I got one, and so did a lot of people. If you parked anywhere near on the grass, even though there's no parking over there, you can't have 3 events at the same time. You should let anybody park where they want to.
Yeah, parking can be a problem at times. I'm fortunate. I've got a pass to park under the stadium right there, so I'm happy they let me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously you saw the baseball. Liam Peterson was really good that night. He just had command of everything. He had one little glitch. Sully went out and talked to him, and I said, "This pitch will be a strike, Karen." Boom, strike, and then he got out of the inning. So he is. He looks like he can be their number 1 starter for the whole year.
Yeah, and obviously you got to have about 4 or 5 pretty good pitchers to make the run. But I was watching ESPN, SEC Network. And, of course, Tennessee won it all last year, and they're still celebrating up there in Rocky Top.
They are.
First ever national championship in baseball. So I tell you, all the sports are big now, Pat. Basketball is bigger than ever, especially women's basketball.
Yeah.
And men, I think they're almost equal right now. So it's neat to see both of those sports right up there in the national interest.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is because of ESPN. ESPN has kind of dictated what's going to be important. I mean, they've dictated that soccer is going to be important. I don't care, but it's okay. I mean, if people that want to watch it will pay attention to it. But it is kind of weird how, women's basketball has gotten to be such a big deal. And again, Caitlin Clark was a big part of that, and the Angel Reese whole thing last year. But look, they've been showing these games for a long time, and of course, Florida's women got a big win on Sunday. I was watching that game. I'll be honest with you, they got down 10. I turned it off, and I found out they won accidentally.
That was
so
good.
they came back. I got to quit giving up on teams.
Yeah, our ladies' team is about 500 right now in conference play, something like that. So hopefully we can make a run in the tournament, and anything's possible to try to get in the big tournament at the end of the year. But obviously our men's basketball are having a heck of a year. And all the experts that watch them, they like them. They like our guys because we play defense, we hustle, we don't do stupid things. And Todd Golden and his staff have done a super job coaching these guys.
It is pretty amazing how, I mean, when you think about it, when they came up as a 1 seed, again, this is the NCAA saying this. Right now, they're a 1 seed. And I just went, I don't want everybody to ignore Florida. I don't want anybody to even pay attention. But that's my philosophy. You always liked it when people were looking at your team and ranking them high. I want people to kind of go, I'm more worried about football next year that they're going to rank Florida in the top 20 and they're going to lose the first game.
No, they're not.
Well, not the first game, but the third game.
Talking football, I was listening the other day, and they said, all right, here, look at next year. Florida's got about the same schedule, except the opening game. We get Long Island instead of South Florida or somebody. So other than that, we play everybody, I think, that we played last year.
Well, you play more on the road.
And more on the road,
makes it tougher, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to really play. But, I like our players. I like our coaches. DJ Lagway, our quarterback, he's something else. But still, we've got to really perform to have a big year next year, which I believe we all believe we're capable right now.
Yeah, it's been interesting off-season. Not a whole lot's happened. Of course, they had lost one of their coaches and already replaced him. So I don't worry about those kind of things. I mean, you used to lose coaches every once in a while, and you just bring somebody in because people wanted to come here and coach, didn't they?
Pepper Rogers, he used to. I don't agree with this, but he used to say assistant coaches are a dime a dozen. You ever heard that?
Yeah, I have.
I said, no. Your coordinators on both sides need to be really, really sharp. And then your assistants, in my opinion, they got to be, back then, they got to be great recruiters, wonderful guys. We all get along. We all pull for each other. We're one big happy family. And, assistant coaches that run the defense and the offense and special teams, they got to be sharp now, don't get me wrong. But in my opinion, the other guys just be solid, fundamental coaches and recruit your tail off and be, instrumental in building confidence and, team camaraderie. And you do that, now you got you a good team.
Yeah, you mentioned Jimmy Ray Stevens the other day, and I actually was texting back and forth. I think we're going to get him on the podcast coming up. But he is people don't realize, not only did he was he a good offensive line coach, but he brought some plays with him. I think didn't he bring the handoff to John Capel with him? Wasn't that a high school play that he had seen and he brought it up to you? Maybe I'm misremembering this.
Yeah, Jimmy Ray, he come up with something every now and then that was really good. And the option play, down the line option play and this, that, and the other. And we used to run that little toss sweep, cut back.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Ray had that in his arsenal also. And he was a heck of a coach. Our O-line really played super here. And we had a bunch of really good assistant coaches. They did what they were asked to do, and they're all great recruiters. Jim Collins, Bob Sanders, my Duke boys, they were excellent recruiters, and that's why we were successful.
You mentioned that cutback play. That was the play that you ran with Fred Taylor in '97, and to get that big touchdown. And it was also, I think, the play you ran in '96 against FSU. So they should have been used to it by then.
Yeah, I think Terry Jackson won it one game.
The 52-yarder, that he ran.
In the national championship game.
Yep. But anyway, that was a good play because you run, and you basically have to beat one guy. You have to beat the linebacker. And if you beat the linebacker, it's gone. And that's all you have to do. And it really – and they beat him. They both beat him. All right, so let's talk about gymnastics, which had a good follow-up from their they had a bad week last week, and they weren't. Jenny Rowland wasn't afraid to talk about it, but they were awesome. 2 10s, one by Leanne Wong, one by Sloan Blakely and they blew out Auburn. So that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I watched that one on TV a bunch, and we were much better than we were out at Arkansas. I guess.
Yes, Arkansas. They weren't good out there.
Yeah,
they had a bad. I mean, everybody has. You'd rather have a bad day in February than a bad day.
Yeah,
in March.
It's like any team. Maybe first time on the road. I haven't talked to Coach Rowland since they lost out there. But sometimes, first time you take a team on the road, you don't know if they're laughing and giggling or whatever. I'm talking about guys too, not just girls.
I know.
I used to get on some of our guys. What are you laughing and giggling about? We got a big ball game tomorrow. Don't you know that? Oh, Coach, relax. We're going to be all right. No, we're not going to be all right. Quit giggling and laughing, okay? But they thought that was all right the night before the game. But I don't know. I just think you have to mentally sort of get yourself ready. You don't have to be dead quiet.
No. And you would take them to a movie Friday night, and they would. And sometimes it would be a comedy. If they're
in there laughing and giggling, we'd get on them a little bit. Tell them they may not be on the trip next time unless you have a heck of a game. But anyway.
I tell you what, you have a quote that we've used, my wife and I, 100 times. when you were talking about, I think it was 97 LSU where you lost, and you noticed that the hang-around guys weren't doing anything. They weren't making any noise. They weren't getting excited. So your walk-ons, your backer-ups weren't doing anything. So we call into everybody hang-around guys from then on. Hang-around guys, yeah.
Well,
you got to get everybody excited, man.
Yeah, we expected the guys on the sideline to be good cheerleaders. Yeah, yell for your teammates. Let's go, and so forth. And that gets them to be a part of the game, the backups on the bench.
Well, let's finish up by talking a little bit more about basketball, because this is really a special season. And every time they win, I kind of go, God, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. But, I mean, he's done a great job. And then the comeback of Micah Handlockton was really emotional. He was hugging his mom before crying. They were both crying, you know. He was finally back on the court, and he did fine.
What was his injury?
He broke his leg, and it literally bone sticking out, and blood was all over the court. And that was in the SEC championship game, early in the game in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So, literally the bone was sticking out, so there was blood everywhere and everything. So, but that was pretty cool to have him back.
Of course, yesterday it was interesting to me that South Carolina women got clobbered by the UConn women, lost by 29 points.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see that coming.
Before the game, all four of the predictors picking, the winning team, they all took South Carolina. And then I watched Texas and LSU women,
I did too.
And they all picked LSU. The four out there were. So, which goes to show you, you can't picking is not always the majority wins. No, it's who plays the best. And those UConn ladies were really ready to play.
I didn't watch that game. I just saw the score, and I went, what? I thought it was a misprint.
They were hitting all their threes just about, and they were hustling all over the place. And Coach Staley, she was befuddled. Is that the word?
Yep.
She didn't know what to do.
Yep.
She just probably said, we got our tails kicked pretty good, and we better regroup if we're going to be competitive the rest of the way. So they've lost 2 in a row, first time in maybe 8 or 9 years that's happened. So that's sports, though.
It is, exactly.
Almost anybody can beat the other guy just about now.
My friend Mark Wise always says sports isn't scripted. This isn't like Real Housewives of Orange County. It's not scripted. You never have any idea what is going to happen. All right, Coach, before you go ahead and plug what's going on here Monday night, because it's certainly a great event, and you got a chance to see some real celebrities here, too. You should have a red carpet out there, actually.
Well, I don't know about that, but, it's the Steve Spurrier Coach of the Year Awards, and it goes to the first year at the school, and Fran Brown has won it, Syracuse. And a bunch of other coaches are coming also, and players. We got Freshman of the Year and all that. So it's going to be a big night, and to get a ticket, get a spot here, go to SteveSpurrierAwards.com.
Yep, that's it. We appreciate Coach every Monday. And, we do have to get to the play of the week. And when Coach mentioned it, or I mentioned it, the women's basketball win, I forgot to go right to the play, but I should have gone to it, and here it was.
For the win!
Oh, man, that is a sweet shot. That is coming to you from Jariah Warren to win the game. Florida at home wins the game on a bounce-in three. That's good for them to have a nice win like that, and let them, celebrate. There's nothing like that, having a game-winning shot.
We haven't had many of those.
No.
That's why it's really thrilling for that to happen.
It is. All right, we'll let Coach go, and we'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator studios here at Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
All right, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We appreciate, as always, all of our sponsors, and we also appreciate Big Mills Cheesesteak for sponsoring our Zoom calls and our Yes, No, Where, Maybe, and we always bring in on Monday Robbie Andrew to do that, and he will be doing it right now. Robert, how are you?
Good, Patrick. How are you?
You liked your Saturday Night Live clips last night?
Yeah, I watched a lot of them this morning. They were hilarious. So sorry I missed the whole show, but it looked like a great show.
It was unbelievable. The Eddie Murphy imitating Tracy Morgan was great. It started out, and like Paul Simon starts singing. I can't think of the song, but he was singing a song. Anyway. He said, I did this song with George Harrison on Saturday Night Live in 86 or 76. So he starts to play it, and his voice sounds a little rough. And then Sabrina Carpenter comes in, and she's there. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you could just feel Paul Simon's voice go, I gotta match this, you know. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. He upped his game.
It was. Actually, everything. There was nothing I didn't like about it. Nothing I didn't like about it. So, but I'm a Saturday Night Live freak. I adore Saturday Night Live. It's. I mean, I saw the first one, so. Yeah,
Pat. We were talking the other day. Tim was up for the basketball game. We were talking the other day that in college, you had to be home at Saturday night at 11:30 to watch. Yeah. It was like everybody. The bars would empty. Everybody went home to watch Saturday Night Live. It was such a great hit right from the start.
So you went to the one thing I didn't go to, which was the basketball game. I went to two baseball games, but
we had a great time. We tailgated and had a few beers. Went to the game. Great second half.
Now let me ask you this: were you the only people tailgating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, why don't people tailgate for basketball?
I don't get that. I don't get it either. If I was going to a basketball game, and I've done this for baseball, where I get there for like a regional final. Yeah. I'll get there 3 hours early with friends and eat, and I'm going to the game. I'm not covering it, so I drink a few beers, and maybe it's because there's not bathrooms out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We got there like 2.5 hours before the game, and had a few beers, but people would just park and walk to the game already. Yep. Nobody was tailgating. I just don't get that one.
It's a weird phenomenon, but one day we'll explore it on Leonard Nimoy's A Search For. All right. Let's get to Yes, No, Where, Maybe, brought to you by our good friends at Big Mills Cheesesteak. Of course, street dining done the right way is the only place to go to get great sausage dogs, anything you want to get there, cheesesteaks. And if you mention you listen to the podcast, you get free fries with your order. All right, Robbie, let's go with number one. The best story on a busy weekend of sports here in Gainesville was the return of Micah Handlockton.
Yeah. Well, Pat, I'd say yes without question because, in this era of the event NIL where everybody's out to make as much money as they can, he sacrificed for the good of his team because they needed help inside because of the injuries. He took the red shirt off. It was a very selfless thing and a great thing. What a great teammate. And the crowd showed their appreciation when he came in the game. It was a great ovation for him.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And the other thing is I think he really – the more he thought about it, he goes, this is my last chance to play with Will. Richard and with
Yeah.
Walter Clayton, and I think too. Look, I understood his trepidation about it earlier coming back, and he was just kind of not sure. But when he saw Condon and then Alexis, of course, go down with ankle injuries, again, this is the anti-NIL. You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
It really is, man. And I know if you had a rod in your leg and had broken it less than a year earlier, I'd have trepidation about going out there too. But he did good. I don't think he played great, but he hadn't been in the game in a long time, and I think his mind knew what to do, but his feet weren't quite keeping up with what he wanted to get done. But he'll get better. The rust will get knocked off, and he'll be a major contributor, I think.
Yeah, no matter how much you run, you can't get in basketball shape till you play the game.
No.
It's the same way with any sport. It's the sport itself makes you have to do different things, even though you can do all the cardio you want. All right, let's get to number 2 on Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Robbie Andrew, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Will Harris going to Miami is breaking Florida's momentum.
I'm going to give a big no way on that one, Pat. I mean, you look at that statement he sent out, it sounds like Napier wanted him to leave. I mean, why else would you take a job as a safeties coach when you were the secondary coach at Florida? And then Napier's already hired his replacement, a guy that was here before, who he obviously knows can coach and knows he's got a great future. So I think in the long run, this is going to be an upgrade. I don't think it hurts momentum at all.
I just look at the numbers, and I look at 3 interceptions last year, and he comes here and they get 14. Now, maybe it's just because they were older. Maybe they just were in better defensive schemes, and we'll find that out. But the fact that he went to the team they're playing, early this year, that's still I guess maybe that's a business decision, and your business decision is, hey, they don't want me. I'm going to go to a team that's going to beat them. Like players used to do that. They would look on the schedule, go, who do we play? Yeah.
All
right.
Pat, they did get a lot more interceptions, but that wasn't his defensive scheme. So he was just fitting in what they wanted in the scheme. So even though he did a good job of coaching, I think making them get better.
And by the way, Deron Wilson is the new hire who was here a couple of years ago, and then he was at Arkansas and had just been hired as a DC at Arkansas State, I believe.
Georgia State.
Georgia State. Okay, he was a DC.
Yeah, but Pat, I saw a clip on him from a press conference at Arkansas. He was very impressive.
Okay,
comes across a very intelligent guy.
Cool. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Robbie Andrew. Brody Donay will break Cag's record of 35 homers in a year after hitting 3 homers in the first weekend.
Well, Pat, how many games do they play this year?
Depends. You got 56 for sure.
How many?
56, and you have the SEC tournament, and you have depends how far you go.
Well, right now he's on pace to hit 56 home runs, so that would break the record, right?
That's right, easily, yeah.
I know he had a great weekend, but it was against the Air Force. But no, he's not going to break the record. And you look back, he had a good year last year, contributed big hits in the offseason, in the postseason.
Yeah.
But he only had 14 home runs last year, so if he gets around 20, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I think they're counting on him to do it, but he does kind of, like when he goes to the plate, he looks a little bit like Cags.
He's a big guy.
Yeah,
big guy, Pat.
But my wife that's who she's now, her new boyfriend. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
I'm sure Brody Donay's interested in her, but
probably right.
Somebody in her 60s, but anyway. Hey, I'm interested in her. Hopefully, she'll hang with me. She'll stay with me because I love her very much. As you love your wife, Robbie. Let's
absolutely,
wish
Pat.
Another happy Valentine's Day in retrospect to our wives.
Yeah, same to you, Pat.
Well, I don't want you wishing it to me.
Well, I mean, for you and Karen, I'm talking about.
No, not to me, though. That sounds kind of weird, man. All right, we'll let Robbie go.
What did you say? You're kind of weird, Pat. I agree with that. That's a yes. Yes.
Robbie and I, if you want more of this, Robbie and I will be on radio Tuesday, the next 2 Tuesdays on the tailgate, because Jeff Cardozo is heading to different road games, and so Robbie will be with me on the tailgate the next 2 Tuesdays. So, and a lot of Tuesdays to come. All right, Robbie. We'll let you go.
See you, Pat.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye. Okay, we appreciate Robbie, of course, for being on the show every Monday. He's great, and that's going to be fun to do the show with him on the tailgate the next couple of Tuesdays, because Jeff, of course, baseball is taking over. All right, let's get to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend. And, of course, BMI TeleMed is your place to go for a weight loss, and we appreciate them. Achieve and maintain is their motto, and we will be doing something with them in a little bit in March, so that'll be a lot of fun as well. All right, our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend is Billy Donovan. Well, you didn't see that coming, did you? Billy Donovan, you know why? Billy Donovan this weekend, what happened for him? He got his jersey retired at Providence University, where he played, of course, and had got into the final 17 of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, the Basketball Hall of Fame is weird. He's already in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. There's 2 different ones. The Basketball Hall of Fame lets in people from any country and any women, anybody. They let everybody in. They don't let everybody in. In fact, I used to complain about it, and I finally got a hold of a guy, and he told me that they had changed the criteria. Too many young people were getting in who weren't even close to retirement, and they moved the years up, so that's why Billy wasn't in. But hopefully he gets in this year, and you know how I feel about Billy. In fact, he's going to be speaking to the quarterback club, I think, very soon. I'm looking forward to that as well. So our and again, I'm calling him a talented overachiever because he came to Providence as a little chubby guy, couldn't do anything. And he became one of the great players, and jersey retired, in the Hall of Fame. He'll be in the Hall of Fame one way or another. Florida needs to start a basketball Hall of Fame, I think. UF. Nah, maybe not. Or they could retire jerseys. We'll get to that at one point today, eventually. All right, let's move along to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. And boy, did I have a lot of choices, but here's who I went with: Ian Gilligan. Ian Gilligan, who when he signed with Florida, I kind of made fun of, hey, Gilligan, is the skipper coming to see you? But Ian Gilligan, unbelievable this weekend. He was on the final hold at the Gator Invitational. He's tied for the lead, and it's pouring. And hits a drive, not a great drive, has to hit a 220-something yard 5-iron to get it up that hill. And I don't know how many times you played that hole. It reminded me of the shot DeMarco hit to win the Gator Invitational one year. He ended up 2-putting to get a par, got him into a playoff, won it on the second hole, was the individual champ. The Gators won the Invitational, and he was the individual champ. It means a lot to do things like that. And Ian Gilligan, of course, the transfer in from, I'm never going to remember this. I think it's Southern Miss, but I may be way wrong on that. It's from another school. Let's just put it that way. But he is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. I know Adam would appreciate a guy that can really play. And this guy is going to be the next. I think he's going to be the next guy on tour for Florida. All right. Let us move along to our Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. Oh, today's the day we have to make a poll. It is. And actually, I have the list right here. Some of you guys, here's the problem. Everybody picked the Daytona 500 right. Nobody picked that Toyota was going to win. They must know something that I don't know. But some of you did good. I mean, there were a lot of qualifiers. Let's put it that way. In fact, and I always start with an odd number that'll freak him out because I know he won't pick it. So here's what I'm saying. It starts with 15. So he won't pick 15 because, guess 15, there's nobody listed on that. That's why I know. That's why I put 15 there. All right, 15 to 48 are the numbers that of our qualifiers, people who work so hard to get them into PatrickDooley54.com. Zach, pick your winner. 24. Got it. Oh, okay. I don't know if I know this guy. Rodney Cruz. Rodney Cruz is our winner. Rodney, just send me an email. Give me your address. I'll send you $25 at Leonardo's Millhopper, the place to go. Or if you go there and you don't order a Dool's, which is a Parmesan sub, man, it is so good. That's a Dool's. Anyway, all right. Appreciate Rodney Cruz, and we'll get started with a new contest on Thursday, and I look forward to it. All right, let's get to the circle. Sponsored for you by. Words are not coming out well today. Sponsored for you by Steve and Christine Wendig, Boss Heart Realty. They do an unbelievable job with their work, and they are big softball fans. I know they aren't happy with the result of Sunday. Florida got beat finally. You weren't going undefeated, okay? They lost 8-1 to Duke. Duke has got a really good team. They're 12th in the country. I mean, it's not like they just, rolled out nothing out there. Florida made 2 big errors in that 5-run inning, and that was a big factor. But I did want to mention that Taylor Shoemaker right now, a freshman from California, Fullerton, California, is now hitting .475 with 8 homers. They played 14 games. She's on a pace to hit 1 billion homers. So she's doing good. Mia Williams also hitting really well, .474 or .434 with 3 homers. She had a solo homer yesterday. Florida plays at UNF Wednesday. I'm guessing it's because they're going to get on a plane and go to Tempe. They're playing in Tempe all weekend, but they're playing at UNF on Wednesday, and I don't think you can watch that game. I know it's not on the plus. I didn't write it down anyways, being on the plus. Most of the games in Tempe aren't on TV either. That's not good. I wish more softball was on TV. It's not that hard, but maybe you can find it. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I can come back to you Thursday and go, hey, I found a way to watch it. Maybe I'm an idiot. All right, let's move along to our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today. Okay, this was it. They're revealing Terrence Shannon Jr.'s jersey. And, of course, he played for Illinois last year. And here it is. It's very nice. Whoa, it's upside down. Now, there is so much irony here because, first of all, you shouldn't be retiring the jersey of a guy who didn't even play a full 1 season for you. He was suspended because he was under rape allegations. It was eventually cleared up. I'm not saying he did it, but that was, and then he led you to what did they get to? I think to this Elite 8 or Sweet 16. 1 year he played there, and you're retiring his jersey. Sometimes I admire what Florida doesn't do with jerseys, and I would hope that they wouldn't put it upside down. But the bottom line is maybe that was on purpose. Maybe there were people, and now the AD came out and he was livid about how this could happen. It's on my watch. But I guarantee you there might have been somebody who went, you know what? Let's put it upside down. This guy never did anything, and I know the girl that alleged it. Anyway, again, I don't know Terrence Shannon Jr. I'm not trying to get into that, but it seems silly to retire a jersey of a guy who only played 1 year and not even a full year because he was under investigation. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get to and that's our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. And it was mayhem. It was mayhem for me, too. Let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things brought to you by our great friends at Hesser and Kipke. I moved them down in the order only because he's in Paris, and that's I feel violated by that. You can call them, of course, at 352-339-9920 or text them at www.hklawfl.com for all your workers' compensation and family law needs. Hesser and Kipke are 3 things. Let's get to number 1. I did want to we talked about the hoops. We showed the shot that they made. They won. Coach talked about UConn losing. He also he's a big women's basketball fan, talked about LSU. They were going to be number 1. But that was an interesting day in college basketball for women. And I watched a lot of it. I didn't get to watch the UConn game. UConn ending a 71-game winning streak at home for South Carolina. And I think it was, earlier they lost a 47-game a SEC winning streak against Texas, I believe it was. Anyway, it was a weird day because that happened. Texas beat LSU in that game. I turned it off because LSU was so far ahead, and then they came back and beat them. And then Florida women's basketball winning a game right now it's good, especially against a team that's got a better record than them. Right, that's where they are right now. So it was interesting. College basketball is all I'm trying to say. Women's college basketball. That's all I'm trying to say. I hope I didn't offend anybody. All right, let's get to number 2. I think the opposite should be in. All right, and that is that William Byron won the Daytona 500. Now, I told you that I watch one race a year. It's the Daytona 500. Obviously, when they were raining and 11 laps in, I thought it sounded like they weren't going to have it. They were going to go to Monday, but I never went back, and I missed it. Missed the whole thing. I'm sorry. But anyway, he won his second straight. I should have known a Chevy was going to win, right? Like I know. Anyway, William Byron avoided crashes, and that is the best way to go through life as you're going down the street. I can't tell you how many times I have pulled off just because I see a crash about to happen. And then it doesn't happen, then I've got to get back on. Anyway, that's number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's get to number 3. I don't know if you watched the All-Star game. I didn't. I was watching Saturday Night Live, as I mentioned before. But the players seem to like it, which I don't know why we're acquiescing to the players. I don't know that the fans like it. I don't know that it got what the ratings are. I'm curious to see. If the ratings were through the roof, okay. I give them credit for doing it, for changing it up. But you're certainly not having LeBron there, missing his first one after 20 straight appearances, and missing Giannis was not playing. And, Anthony Edwards was out. So, yeah, it took a little bit away from. But I didn't watch it, so I don't know that it really matters. I shouldn't probably have mentioned it. All right, let's get out of there. Let's get out of this segment. Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. Enjoy Paris. All right, let's get to our sponge of the weekend. It is brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash. We appreciate them. Got my car wash there the other day over there on 13th Street. And our sponge of the weekend are two guys, sponges of the weekend, I should say. And those people are Greg Sankey and Tony Batiti, who is the commissioner of the Big Ten. They are having meetings, and there's a lot of talk. And Wednesday they're having another meeting, the SEC is, and the idea is we're going to 14 or 16 in 2016. Or 26. Not next year, but 2026. They're going to 14 or 16. We want to go there. There's more revenue, and we want to make sure we have the most teams in. And if you don't like it, there's a it's weird. There's what is it called? A memorandum of agreement, something like that the other schools sign that allows the SEC and the Big Ten to basically dictate what the playoffs are going to be like after next coming year. Well, it's this year, but next coming season. So it's going to be more what you and I want and less what the Tulanes and, Boise States of the world want, which is fine with me. I just want the best teams to play. I still think the best idea, if you want to go to 14, here's the 14 teams, seed them 1 through 14, and that solves the problem. Don't worry about conference champs. Get that out of there. Conference championships are eventually going to go away. I used to say there's no way, but they're going to make enough money that they don't need them anymore. Anyway, our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week goes to Greg Sankey and Tony Batiti. I think Greg Sankey's going to be on in a couple of weeks too, so be sure I'll ask him that question as well. Okay, we wrap it up as we always do with our Swamp games of the weekend. The Swamp is the place to go to watch all these games. If my daughter had one more receipt from the Swamp, I don't know what I would do. She could wallpaper her whole room with them because she loves going there for games. All right, let's give it to you. Baseball, Tuesday plays at JU. It's on the plus. Wednesday they play FAMU, Florida A&M, at home. That's also on the plus. Basketball, Tuesday, 7 o'clock against Oklahoma on ESPN U2. I'm sorry, ESPN2, not ESPN U2. There is not an ESPN U2. There should be an ESPN. It could be like the Ocho is. ESPN2, 7 o'clock against Oklahoma. Of course, every game's a big game. Softball plays Wednesday at UNF. That game I can't find anywhere. I don't know if it's on. If you know, go send me a text and I'll let everybody know on the radio. Also on basketball, a couple of good games on Tuesday. Purdue at Michigan State is worth watching. That's a 7 o'clock game on Peacock. Now, my gut is I'm not going to watch it because if I put that on, I have to leave it on Peacock. And if I don't put it on, then I got to watch the Gator game on the smaller TV, so probably not. But you may want to do that. A&M at Mississippi State, too, another big game. Both the MSUs are playing. And that's 7 o'clock on the SEC network. So if you got 2 DVs, that's what I would go with. That's a big game as far as seeding and everything goes. And then Wednesday, Alabama at Missouri at 9 o'clock on the SEC network. That's a big game, too. There's a lot of big games going on here, guys. And we'll just do it the best we can to let you know what they are. Those are our swamp games of the weekend. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who listens and watches this show. We're doing great numbers, and we appreciate you. Thanks to Zach for producing this. We appreciate him so much for everything he does. And thank you especially to our sponsors who make this thing go. We'll get out of here. We appreciate everybody. Until Thursday, Matt McCall. Till then, I am Pat Dooley. I'm deep way back, and I am out of here.